Next from Springfield, GOP State Senators hold a press conference to denounce a bill that would enact a progressive income tax in Illinois, a tax the senators say would further drive businesses and citizens out of the state. This runs about 15 minutes.
Good morning. I'm State Senator Mike Connolly from the 21st Senate District, which is essentially western DuPage County, a little bit of northern Will County. We're here today on Senate Resolution 1590, which is in opposition to a graduated income tax. In the 1970 Constitutional Convention, the members there imposed a flat tax. They imposed it for purposes of certainty and predictability, not just for businesses wanting to come into Illinois or expanding in Illinois, but also, most importantly, for working middle-class families. Going away from that would be an unmitigated disaster. Right now we have anemic economic growth in Illinois compared to other states around the country, and to impose further tax burdens, not only on businesses, but most importantly on middle-class families, will drive further exodus of businesses and individuals from our state at a time that we absolutely cannot afford that. Without further ado, I would turn this over to Leader Brady to say a few words.
Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Senator Connolly, and for your leadership on this issue. Last year, the Democrats imposed a heavy tax burden on the people of Illinois, and now they're proposing another graduated income tax hike. We know and we stand in support of job growth, economic development, and balanced budgets. But to do that, you do that by creating jobs, not by raising the tax rate, burdening families and businesses. One of the best opportunities we have as a state right now is to land the second headquarters for Amazon. We know that Jeff Bezos cares deeply about tax policy on the families that his company employs. And I will tell you that in my conversations, I believe that Chicago has the best opportunity of any place in this nation to land those 50,000 jobs and those 120,000 ancillary jobs. But if the Democrats continue to threaten a graduated income tax hike, it's going to put at risk, and I believe that would be the only risk and may well cost us. So we're here to defend taxpayers. This caucus stands united against a graduated income tax hike and about balancing our budget within the current means. So we appreciate you being here, and I'll leave it to Senator Connolly to see if there's any questions.
Does anybody have any comments? Anyone?
Well, thank you for being here, and I know time's short, so I'll get right to it.
Yeah.
What do you folks know that the IRS and 34 other states don't know?
What we know is the purpose behind our flat tax was to provide certainty. And right now, we are I think, the leaders of out-migration in the country. Businesses expect predictability. This will do nothing but bring uncertainty to the business community. We're trying to, as Leader Brady said, entice not just Amazon, but also other mid-level companies to come to Illinois. And it's not just the companies themselves, but their families, the people that would be moving here. We have seen around the country where the progressive income tax rates, they start at one level and they go to another level, and soon those who consider themselves middle class are then considered rich after a while, and you saw that in California. So Illinois, the people who put our Constitution together understood certainty was important for businesses, and I think that's one thing we have right now, and let's keep that in place.
Sure. I want to add on to that because I think that's a great question. What is the difference between Illinois and some of these other states? And that is, here in Illinois, let's see, we have more units of government than any other state. We have some of the highest property taxes in the country. We have the worst funded pension obligations. We have a lot of problems in this state that need to be addressed. And the party that is in control of the General Assembly thinks that the only way to solve any of those problems is to kick the can down the road and continue to raise taxes just to get through another day. So as a taxpayer, why would I trust the state of Illinois to live up to their word, the word that they're putting out there? We're just gonna increase taxes on the millionaires. Well, the millionaires, all they got to do is switch to another state and they're gone. So then, who are you going to tax next when there are no more millionaires left in Illinois? Who are you going to tax next? It's going to be the middle class. The middle class that is forced to leave the state because they cannot afford the rate of taxation. That's the difference between us and the other states.
Can you talk a bit about small business owners that file as individuals and how a progressive income tax might, inadvertently hit them hard?
Go ahead.
You're absolutely right. These are the job creators in this state. And the graduated tax hike that the Democrats are proposing would drive right at their bottom line and their ability to reinvest in Illinois jobs. And as Senator McConaughey said, the people they are at the highest level that they want to attack probably already have a home in another state that they could move to, and then we lose revenues by their lack of residence here. So to me, this is a downward spiral where we ought to be working on creating jobs and the revenue that provides this state, as opposed to penalizing the people who are in this state and creating jobs.
Also, a lot of the conversation about a progressive tax has been void of any talk of rates. We don't know what the rates are. We've had one proposal in the House, really didn't go anywhere. It mirrored Wisconsin's rates, but does that give you guys pause of having any kind of conversation about this, as the Democrats are asking for?
Well, I think that's a key question. So essentially, a graduated tax is a tax increase. That's the, that's the truth. If you compare us with states that are comparable to us, such as California, meaning they have a budget that continues to grow, they have government that continues to grow, they also have a graduated tax. And in order to get enough revenue in to pay for a continued expansion of government in California, they have then had to increase tax on every level of wage earners. So if you look at California, what we would consider middle class, someone making $60,000 to $80,000 currently in California pays 6% for their income tax. If you talk about the small businesses who are bringing, they report on their personal income tax, the LLCs flow through to their personal income tax, say that they're in the $80,000 to $100,000 range, they're currently paying 8%. So these are significantly higher tax rates than what we have in the state of Illinois. And I think you're going to hear a lot of rhetoric from our friends across the aisle about let's tax the job creators, the 1%. That 1% not only will chase them to another, or they'll move out of state, but more importantly, that doesn't bring in the kind of revenue we need to pay for our government. Soon you're going to have this creep down to the middle class, just like we've seen in California, and the middle class, which is the largest income taxpayer in the state, will be sharing the burden of the cost of government in the state of Illinois.
And talking with Senator Bush about this press conference, she said, well, if we, tax the wealthy more, then we may be able to find more money for schools, which is the main reason why our property taxes are so high. What's your response?
Well, I'm gathering my thoughts, actually. Trying to listen to my mother say, watch what you say. The bottom line is what Leader Resin said, which is those with means will domicile in Florida, Tennessee, other states that do not have an income tax. Sadly, those with even medium-sized businesses will find new locations, be it Indiana or Tennessee or Wisconsin, and those jobs are gone, and they're gone for good. I mean, the notion that there's a business out there saying, this is fantastic, Illinois is looking to go to a graduated income tax, I'm going to wait until they do that to invest in Illinois, seems somewhat foolhardy. And I'll bring up my district in western DuPage County. There's in California, 83,000 to 105,000 pay 8%. That's almost doubling their income tax. And I would consider that, when you consider the property taxes we pay, that's middle class in my world.
Well, Governor Rauner, ever since he showed up, has been saying, we want lower taxes, the growth is going to come organically, people are going to want to invest in Illinois, jobs are going to follow, et cetera, and you folks are saying the same thing today. How long is it going to take for that to grow, to bake in?
Can I just point out one thing that hasn't been said yet along those lines? You just had a tax increase. First of all, that is a huge, huge negative consequence to the economy. You can't grow forward when you raise taxes. But let me just point this out, because this hasn't been said. You're not even through a single fiscal year since the tax increase went into effect, and the Democrats already want more taxes. I mean, enough is enough. You're not even a single fiscal year complete since the Democrats' tax increase went into effect, and they want another one. I mean, how much is enough?
So how long does it take for this business-minded organic growth to happen for us all to benefit from, for it to really pay off in milk, honey, and other good things?
Well, we can spend another hour and a half to talk about workers' compensation and some of the other things. Office Max left my district, left 3,000 jobs for Boca Raton, Florida. One of the biggest cost drivers was their astronomical workers' compensation costs. So there are any number of factors involved. What we're saying today is we have anemic job growth now. This is going to only make it worse. Please stop the madness, so to speak, and let's get back to trying to come up with a regulatory scheme that is more attractive for job creators.
Graduated tax.
Can I add one more thing to that? You know, I think it's important to take the time to go interview the businesses that have left Illinois or are making the plans to leave Illinois and ask them why they are leaving. And they are leaving because overburdened with regulation. We talked about work comp, the high property taxes, the unpredictability of our tax system, the fact that we carry more debt makes us a very unstable state. That is the constant comment you get with every business owner or corporation that has left Illinois and taken their jobs with them. This is not complicated. They've been very clear as to the reasons why they are leaving the state of Illinois. We have tried to put forward reforms to change that, to give the business community some standard of predictability. They're not even arguing about the taxes, they're arguing about the predictability. What could be less predictable than a percentage-based income tax that the General Assembly can adjust every year? That was the worst signal that you could possibly send to job creators.
Senator Tracy, how does this affect businesses in the western part of the state?
Well, certainly everything that's been said. Everybody is still reeling. I hear all the time from middle-class families that are struggling, and right away they noticed how their paycheck has been diminished. And I think it's all the points that have been made. We haven't even seen where we're going. You're looking at adding on an increase that we don't know the amount. Absolutely. And I have many small businesses, and what we've said is that that's the ones, whether they file an S corp or just are trying to meet payroll and incorporated or otherwise, it will hurt them. It will drive them to look to other states. If I'm on a border, and every day we've got businesses moving to Missouri and Iowa. Thank you.
You guys don't have a majority, so is this more just kind of a sign as opposed to what happened in the House with, essentially they're killing any movement of a progressive income?
We're hoping to kind of stop this in its tracks and hope that it doesn't get any
Do you have any Democrats
growth.
on
We're working on that.
Senator Weaver, can we ask you the same question, please? How does this affect companies in your part of the state of Peoria?
Yeah, so we had CAT announce its headquarters move to Chicago. Very concerned about where that goes long term. I think they're trying to make great business decisions for themselves, but the reality is governors all over the country want to see new business, and they will go out and recruit, and they're going to go forward and say, what do they have to offer versus what are we doing to hurt people? And right now, we're doing a lot of things to hurt people. You asked a question a minute ago about when does milk and honey start. Milk and honey starts is when we start making some good decisions about where we've been and where we need to go. And the reality is you can't say, Governor Rounder, we're not seeing milk and honey. Well, exactly the opposite things happen to what he's trying to sell. And I believe he's right in saying we got to keep taxes down or reduce those. I think he's also right that we need a tremendous number of reforms, and we got to keep fighting to make that happen. Thank you.
With a graduated tax, does that necessarily require increases in anybody's taxes?
Well, that will
Start
happen.
it as low as you want, go as high as you want.
Well, the intention is not to start it low. I can promise you that with what's coming from the other side. The intention, and here's how I explain it to people, because there's a pretty good, people go out and poll, there's good numbers that say tax the rich. Okay, people say, if somebody else, let's go get them. So what happens is, we're at a flat tax. You go like this to tax the wealthy, but pretty soon, and I don't have these numbers yet, and I've been asking for them, how much really comes out of that group right there? How many dollars? What happens? Not enough dollars, so then the whole thing starts going like this. The beauty of where we are right now is Democrats are very concerned about these folks over here on this left side. If you don't have that pressure of Democrats saying we got to keep this number low here, they go like this, the whole number starts going up. Right now, it's the flat tax that keeps the whole number down. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, folks.